some point.
And we're live. Hey guys,
Woohoo!
welcome to season 3, episode 2 of Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. Tonight we have a bunch of our lovely ladies from the new Whiskey, Wine, and Writing team. We're going to be introducing them to you tonight, and then we're going to be talking writing, all the paths and different tips, tricks, and things we know. So we're just going to be doing kind of a little round table on that tonight. So you guys should know me by now, I would hope. I'm Natasha, your host, rep by Laura Bradford. And yeah, so I'm still here, still chugging along, still happy. And my new co-host is E.L. Wicker, who's going to introduce herself and give a little bit of information, and we'll move on to the next member of our awesome team.
Hi everybody, I'm E.L. Wicker. I won't bore you with being repetitive, but I write. There you go, new adult.
That's your introduction?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Okay.
So then we're going to move on to Leslie Ann Boyden.
Hello, I'm Leslie Ann Boyden. I write YA, anything fantasy, sci-fi, magical realism, anything under the sun, really, whatever comes in my head. That's it, querying right now. I do theater. I'll probably talk about theater a lot. So, and I'll also be doing NaNoWriMo vlogs on the channel starting this week, starting on Friday. So keep an eye out for those. That's my introduction.
And we can't wait to see him. And up next is a favorite who's been on quite a few times and is now officially part of our awesome team, Miss Leatrice LLL McKinney.
Multiple L's. Hi, I am L or LL or LLL, as Natasha so said. I write YA, speculative, so anything fantasy, science fiction, high fantasy, urban fantasy, cyberpunk, that's what I do. I am represented by Melissa Nason at Ruben Pfeffer Content, and I will be writing about pretty much writing, case of breeze, right? And pretty much any silliness that happens to pop into my head at the time. So you have been warned. I will go off on tangents about Spider-Man and movies and comics and things like that. So,
which is one of the many reasons we love her, so it's okay. And up next we have Suzanne Sameen. I said that right?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, see,
you did say it right. Good.
And if you guys have been following our Twitter accounts for the last few months, that's all Suzanne. All that amazing stuff that's going on over there on Twitter, all the prompts and the questions and the stuff to get your mind going and the writing aspect, this is all this lovely lady right here.
Well, thank you. So, yeah, my name's Suzanne. I do Twitter for money and also not for money, and I love it, and it's great. I write fantasy. It's like, I don't know if new adult really applies to fantasy, but if it did, then like I would consider it that. Otherwise, it's adult. I'm currently in the process of querying my first novel ever, which is a terrifying process. And then I also write nonfiction, personal essays, so on and so forth, which I've been publishing now for I think 4 years. So yeah, that's me and my deal.
A lot of different experiences and a lot of different walks in the publishing path going on here, which I love because it encompasses the entire writing community from beginner, novice to expert. And I mean, I don't really consider anybody an expert unless you're like, I don't know, Stephen King, maybe, but you know what I mean. Bad word. So let's start with something easy, ladies. What is your favorite, or not what, who is your favorite author? Who's that one person who kind of inspired you to start writing? Don't everybody jump at once. It's okay.
Okay, I'll go first. All right. Favorite writer, Meg Cabot. Huge Princess Diaries fan. I've read almost every single one of her books. Young adult books, some of her adult books as well. Just really inspired me to write YA, and pretty much she's amazing. I know probably pretty much too much about her. That's weird.
So, Leatrice.
I actually don't have a single favorite, which is weird.
It's hard to pick just one.
It is. Depending on what I am feeling that season, or how hard I fall for a series and then complete it. There was a time where I was all about Cassandra Clare, and then I finished her series, and then Julie Kagawa is another one that I'm really really fond of, both YA, urban fantasy and fantasy gals, and Jim Butcher, who is adult urban fantasy. So if it's urban fantasy or some sort of fantasy, I also like Laurel K. Hamilton. With the oh, I'm gonna lose it.
Anita Blake series.
There we go. For some reason, I wanted. I said Anita Baker. I don't. The singer. Don't ask. Don't ask.
And then she has the Mary Gentry series too, which is about the Fae. So.
And to round it off, Anne Rice and J.K. Rowling, of course. So.
Suzanne, what about you?
Sure. So my favorite author ever is actually a nonfiction author. That's Hunter S. Thompson. Famous journalist, known for doing like a lot of drugs, which I don't condone. But he's really,
at least not on camera.
Right. Exactly. We'll talk about it later. No, but he's really like a master storyteller, and he definitely was very formative in my love of storytelling. And when it comes to like within my genre, J.K. Rowling, of course, was super formative for me, and also George R.R. Martin, even though we're in a fight right now because I'm not happy with some of his decisions. But yeah, I think that would be like the three of them are like.
I think everybody's still reeling from Sunday night's Game of Thrones is what's going on, because that was
I need emotional support. Like
but it was the 9th episode, and everybody knows the 9th episode every season is the episode to watch out for. It is.
Yeah.
So Elle, quicker.
Oh, so many from Crime and Pathology, Patricia Cornwell, Kathy Wright, Jefferson Bass, Crime, James Patterson. My favorite genre though is new adult. I read it by the bucket load. Penelope Ward has got to be one of my favorite new adult authors, and Christy Cook is what inspired me to start writing this time round. So no, there's just too many, far too many.
It's very hard. Like I remember that the first like author I read, as my own as a child, like without your parents' help, was Francine Pascal. The Sweet Valley series.
Yeah.
Well, no, I started with twins because they were like 6 and I was like 6. Because I'm the same age as the Sweet Valley girls, by the way. I think they're actually like a year older than me, actually. But yeah, so I picked up twins because my mom worked at Kmart, and it takes a village, so she brought me to work, and they were kind of all watching me and stuff like that. And I was chilling at the book section, found that done. I read I went through it as I was growing up. I went twins, kids. What is it, the middle school one, then there was the Princess Unicorn Club, or the Unicorn Club, and then High. And so I went through all those, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what started me on my path, was that series of books.
My favorite Sweet Valley High book is the really creepy one with the girl who wants to become one of the twins, like Margot or something. That was my absolute favorite.
Well, then there was even, not Jessica, Elizabeth, when she was being stalked. And the guy wanted to kidnap her, and it was just really creepy. And it's like, you got some dark books out of that series. It wasn't all sunshine and bubblegum. So guys, we are here talking with the team. We are talking writing, so if you have writing questions, feel free to hit us up on our Twitter account, #SWWWriting, and we will be more than happy to answer your questions on air. And we will go from there. I think we actually already got one from Gus Wood at Gus Woods. He says, "Are you guys incorporating poetry at all? I love all your shows on prose, but as a poet, it'd be cool to see that too." I am so not a poet. I used to write poetry. I have no idea about the dynamics of it, though.
I recently featured a poetry book on my blog, Benediction of a Black Swan, or Benediction for a Black Swan, by Mimi Zoller, I think. So, I feature it on my blog every now and then, once.
What about you ladies? Do you know anything about poetry?
As we do that together, that happens a lot.
That was very in sync.
You are not a member of the WW writing staff until you cut somebody else off repeatedly. So
it's just how it goes with us. It's how we roll.
Pretty much. That's what I wrote primarily. After I wrote stories in elementary school and middle school, and then high school was all about poetry for some reason. I don't really know why. I think it was easier for me to sort of be staccato about my thoughts and feelings. Now I do spoken word occasionally, so I don't know any of the
Dynamics.
yeah, I couldn't dissect it, I can go through the stanzas and, all of that and the lines and the breaking but if I had to enter a poem into like a poetry contest, I wouldn't know how to format that. I write it how I plan on speaking it out loud. So there are ellipses and there are quotation marks and italics and bold, and I'm sure it all doesn't go in there. I have mastered the haiku though. Yeah.
Leslie, Suzanne, either one of you?
Well,
sure. Oh no. Okay. Mine's really quick, I promise. The guy who asked the question is actually my fiance. He's sitting right over there.
How are you?
So I know as much about poetry as he does. And that's my answer. Yay!
Yeah. When I was a creative writing minor in college, I purposely avoided taking the poetry classes because I knew that I was so bad at poetry. I mean, I could have learned, but it just wasn't something that I was into, really, so I just stuck to fiction.
All right, well, maybe so we can start working then for the poets out there. We can start working on having some guests, working on getting some guests out of that know poetry, since obviously we don't. I mean, obviously we all like to write it from time to time, because I was the same as Beatrice. Like, I wrote it in high school all the time. I have books of the stuff in my closet. I couldn't break it down or tell you what's good, what's bad, or what's indifferent about it. I really couldn't. So maybe we'll start putting some feelers out for some poets and people who know a little bit about that to help out the poetry aspect of writing. So, sounds good to me. Well, thank you, Gus. He could just come on over and say hi. I'm just saying.
Playing a video game, so like.
Oh
yeah.
No, that's not gonna happen. So, so speaking of writing, what is, when it comes to actually writing your novels, what is the hardest thing? Is it dialogue? Is it, beats? What is your thing that you have the hardest time with?
I don't think there's anything specific. I think I just go through phases where I forget how to talk. And then my character forgets how to think, so she's just got an empty head. I went through that recently. So I think I just all of it at random times.
Okay, so it just depends on the scene for you. Sometimes the dialogue doesn't work. Sometimes the inner dialogue doesn't work. Sometimes just something does not want to work.
Yeah, and apparently I use too many adjectives.
Just in that chapter, woman. Just in that chapter. I'm never living that down. Never living it down. I pointed out, and I don't hear the end of it.
No, you're right. Adjectives be gone.
It was a little overwhelming. I got it by like the third adjective. I was like, it's okay. I understand now.
She's really burning. She's burning hot now.
Oh, God. What about you?
Me? Yeah. Oh. Well, I actually sit and read all my dialogue out loud like a total psycho. So I feel like my dialogue is good. I think my biggest problem is because I'm a journalist, or I was trained to be one, I'm way too detail-oriented. So, I will go back and read stuff and be like, wow, they really don't need to know that, she put a cup down right there. You don't need that. You could just get rid of that. I tend to, zone in on the action, I'm writing a screenplay, and then I have to back up and be like, okay, nobody cares. Let's get back to the stuff that actually matters. I think that's my biggest issue. She
over details it.
Yeah.
So I do that too. Actually, I think I under detail it sometimes. I don't put enough details in. But Leslie.
My biggest issue, which has come to light recently in a critique group that I'm in, is that I'm terrible with tense switching. Sometimes it'd be mainly it would be in past tense, but then I have a sentence where I use it is or has, and it came up so much in that first chapter that I was critiquing. I looked throughout the rest of my manuscript. And I was like, whoa, I have a problem. So I went to fix it. But yeah, I think grammar and spelling biggest issues. Hard to admit.
They're good for word processors with the spell checks and everything.
Yes.
And you still have to read through it though, because spell check will change it to something that it's not supposed to be. Like it'll be like a similar word, but not the word you're looking for. And oh, by the way, somebody remind me, say Scrivener when I'm done with Leatrice's. Go ahead.
I would have to say that it depends on what I'm working on at the time. Because if I'm doing like a fantasy, or right now I'm doing a cyberpunk, I will be all about the world building, and then I won't realize that my I might have a character here where I've given him a name and he's not important, So I throw everything into it, and then I have to pare down. So and what I notice about myself is I always forget to add in sense of smell or touch half the time. Mostly smell. I'm really bad with smell, because it's something that it's just there, and unless it's really, really overpowering or it's really distinct, you don't really notice it. Unless it's really good or it's really bad. It's just smell, and everything smells. Cars, smell. Going into a house, it'll have a distinct smell. So I smell is my big thing. I usually have to go back in and, what does this smell like? Well, nobody knows what it smells like. Make it up. But so, I have to.
I must admit, I layer smells and sounds and stuff in because I forget to.
Oh, well, that's what editing's for. You can always go back and put that stuff in. I think my biggest problem is conveying emotions. Like, legit.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do that. At least for me. I will rewrite an emotional scene like 5 times because I'm like, this is not right. This is not how somebody would react. This is, and I should take that back. It's not like, I don't know. It's not like if somebody's pissed off, I can be pissed off really well. Like it's like those when you're either like feeling intense love or like those kind of things because I'm trying to do it without doing it the same way everybody else does it and repeating myself 30,000 times. It's kind of hard sometimes to get those emotions conveyed properly. So, but yeah, okay.
Over emotional too. That's
exactly. Yeah, and then you try so hard to make it just right that you are being over emotional. So it's like a precarious balance that you have to find, and then edit 20,000 times, or at least I do. So, but speaking of word processors, does anybody else here use Scrivener?
Nope.
I had it, and I think I can re-download it, but I just haven't used it.
Okay. So I'm on a group on Facebook about Scrivener and Scrivener users and all that stuff. So apparently this chick was looking for a synonym for prostitute.
Okay.
So she right-clicks on prostitute, and you have a little drop-down. You can go over to the synonyms. Scrivener's only 2 synonyms for prostitute are woman and human female.
Oh my god.
Way to suck. Way to suck.
I was like, whoa, what? And then me and my husband got arguing. He's like, well, prostitutes can be human females. I'm like, yes, I know this, but that is not an accurate synonym for prostitute.
No.
Well, thank you, Scrivener.
I was dying of laughter, and I was like, okay, you realize, and then we honestly got into this conversation. It was, you realize that a prostitute can be a male or a female. He's like, no, a gigolo is a male prostitute. That's what they call male prostitutes.
But
I was like, but he's still a prostitute.
Yeah.
But isn't a gigolo like the male version of an escort?
Yeah, I
Like,
thought.
Not more like a call girl.
Yeah.
Where they have their client lists and they get called as opposed to like, working out on the streets. Yeah, they're normally like high end with a client list and everything like that. So
like, there's no woman prostitution. It's either it's like by age, right? Like they have child prostitution, which is a horrible, horrible thing, and then just prostitution. There's no.
I mean, the prostitution is a guy or a girl selling their body for money. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I
that's
agree.
basically what it is. That's your bottom line on prostitution.
Yeah.
Whatever nicknames or categories you have for it, they're still prostitutes at the end of the day. So whether they're high end, low end, whatever, still prostitutes. But the fact is that it does kind of just be like you need more. Like the girl's like, I'm going to talk to literature and latte. I'm assuming this is just like a glitch or whatever. I don't know where the source comes from, but I'm pretty sure that'll be something they'll take care of, because that's wow. I couldn't stop laughing, but I had to bring that up because I thought that was a funny tidbit. So again, with the the spell checks and the synonym finders, make sure you're double and triple checking this stuff, guys, because if you use human female as a synonym for prostitute, there might be a problem there. So
Also, don't be like me and not fully read the tutorial on Scrivener, because I found out relatively recently that I organized all my folders wrong. So when I tried...
Uh-oh, Suzanne?
No.
She's
What?
frozen. I think she's frozen.
That's the reason why I didn't do Scrivener, because I couldn't stand all these folders everywhere. I need it. I work from start.
There's two of her.
There is two. The other one will drop in a minute.
Oh my God, that's scary.
Doppelganger, you've been going.
You're in the same position too, so it's just weird.
It's fine. The other one will drop out in a minute. It's what happens when people come back in. So.
I don't know what happened. The point is, I screwed up my whole Scrivener. That's the end of the story.
I love Scrivener. It's great. I think it's really great, especially for me, because I tend to reorder my scenes half the time, and on Word, it's really hard to do that without copying and pasting everything, and I can just slide my scenes because I have a different tab for each scene, and then you just put them in whatever folder you want and move your folders around if you want to switch scenes around or chapters around or whatever. I love Scrivener for that fact.
That's really clever, but I think my brain would blow up.
It's really easy to use. Like, I by no means know all the ins and outs of it. I know enough for what I need it for. So, and that's the basic stuff. So. Yay! She's back.
Oh, wait! You disappeared again. I thought you were still there.
I thought she was still there too. So
your hand is in a different spot.
Oh my gosh! See, I told you guys there would be laughter tonight. I was not lying. All right. So, hey, Elle, you have Jake there asking a question on the feed. Oh. Do you see it?
Yes.
Sorry, my camera's being weird. There we go. So I didn't know if you wanted to ask it, because he's your buddy and he's awesome.
Well, I think with the book that I have published, I was really pushing it with the YA.
Wait,
so
ask the question.
What's the question?
The viewers can't see the question.
I thought you read it out. Was that my brain? What's the biggest risk each of you has taken in your writing? Where and how far have you pushed the literary boundaries?
Oh, I have one for that one.
Go for it.
All right, so my current story is told from two viewpoints at the same time. Like, not head hopping, but not. So the way that it works, and this is the one that I've sent you, Tasha. It's told in a first-person perspective by an entity that's possessing somebody else.
Oh, right.
So he's watching what's going on through that person's eyes, but he's also having his own experiences with it, his own thoughts about it, and they interact with his thoughts. So it's actually kind of hilarious because the person he's possessing, he can feel what he feels and see what he sees and hears what he hears. So as he tells us, that such and such is doing this in a fight, he's experiencing it, but at the same time he's having his own thoughts about it, about how he's pushing his energy to amplify his speed or to amplify his reflexes or something like that. So it's third person and first person, and the hard part of that is working out how to differentiate whenever the guy who's being possessed, the third person POV, is talking to the person in his head versus the person in his head talking. Does that make any sense whatsoever?
It makes sense.
It does. It sounds really interesting.
But you're talented enough to make it happen. Like, I've read your stuff. Like, I don't by any means think it's going to be easy, and I'm sure you're going to be editing the hell out of it.
Oh yeah.
But I am pretty sure that you've got the basic skills needed to weave this wonderful web you've got going. So
it's come down to italics and maybe different fonts for the first person character whenever he is saying something to the third-person POV in the third-person POV's head. So somehow because everything that's going on is thoughts, essentially. So it's weird, but it makes sense in my head. I just have to make it make sense for the rest of the world.
So who else? Who's pushed some boundaries in their novels?
I could talk about it. Sure. Okay, so hopefully I won't tune out. Let's cross our fingers. Okay, so mine isn't as technical, I guess. I think some boundaries I've pushed. First off, my main protagonist is bisexual, which is not to say that there's no bisexual people in books, but this is
still a minority.
Yeah, it's a minority, and it's also she's coming out of a same-sex relationship, and then ultimately, at the end of at least this book, is in a heterosexual relationship. So that's one thing. It's to show that it doesn't have to be oh, I was gay and now I'm not. You could just like both, and it's fine. And then the other thing is that throughout the course of my book, she has a one-night stand, and it's fine, and it's not a big deal. And that's I think we kind of have this habit sometimes in books of making every single sexual encounter be with the one, and it's they have to follow you, and it has to be a big part of the story. But she just straight up has a one night stand, and it's totally cool. So it's little feminist things I try to put in there because I think they're important, and because I think it's true to the character too.
Very cool.
So that's what I would say.
Awesome. Yeah. Leslie.
The current manuscript that I'm working on, I'm revising it right now. I have an unlikable main character just for the sake that she has no conscience whatsoever, and so that's the stuff that I'm getting heard back from my critique group. They're like, well, she's doing all these terrible things in the first chapter, but she feels no remorse. I'm not connecting it, and so I'm trying to find that balance about how to make her somewhat likable, but still be true to her quite evil self throughout the entire manuscript. So that's a challenge.
You have to make people love to hate her.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, and that's where you're going to get your connection. I mean, if she's supposed to be the bad guy, so you have to find what's going to offset that in the realm of the book, so that they still sympathize with her, though.
Yeah, I mean, I found some stuff that makes her a little bit more relatable when it comes to her family, but in the first chapter, she's not with her family, so it's just her at school terrorizing people. She's a popular girl, rigging the votes to become prom queen, torturing people.
I love her already.
Yeah. I mean, it's about the daughter of the boogeyman, so she has these weird powers, and so she's using them to get what she wants. And so in the first chapter, they're just she's just doing all these terrible things, and they're just I can't connect with this. So we'll see.
Gotcha. Elle, what about you, Wicker?
Well, not really.
Not really.
Jake, who asked the question, he wrote a book, and it's dialogue only, so that's really clever. But yeah, no, not really. I mean, my book was supposed to be YA, but I pushed it too far, and because I can't write YA, not really. I've written a few short stories, but I'm NA or adult through and through. I get this habit of taking their clothes off.
That's awesome. For me, I don't know. I don't know that I've pushed boundaries. I know that my girls that are one of the protagonists that are girls, they usually wind up saving themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys are still strong and they're still smart, but they always wind up finding a way out of the situation for themselves, and it's more of a different kind of saving that the guy does. So it's not necessarily a physical saving, because they're more incapable of doing that themselves. And then there's still an emotional task, though, that needs to be resolved, and that's usually where I guess my guys come in. So I guess that's a little bit where I kind of push the boundaries, where I have the females able to save themselves. I guess. I don't know if that's pushing boundaries or not, but I guess maybe in the romance genre it is. So, but yeah, so I do that, and I tend to make them in weird, right now, my protagonist for the one I'm writing in Renegade, she's a truck driver. She's a female truck driver. So
she's cool. Reggie.
She's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun. I want to smack her sometimes, but she's a lot of fun. So.
But she's really relatable, I think, because most women aren't all they're not helpless. They don't need a man to rescue them. And Reggie is true to what a woman should be.
Yeah.
Is.
So, but yeah. So, and we have another question. See. Oh, hey, Suzanne. This is from your fiance. You want to read the question?
Oh, sure. Hold on. Let me find it. Wait. Where is it?
It's under the at Whiskey Wine Writing feed. He didn't tag it. He did the at.
Oh, okay. How do you organize your thoughts for writing? Notepads, whiteboards, your brains, etc.?
Oh, wow. I don't know that I organize anything. At least not very well. I can do a vague like outline, and by vague I mean I have plot points I know I want to happen, and I don't know how I'm going to get there. And then half the time, halfway through the book, I'm either restarting the beginning or rewriting half the plot points. So I don't know that I'm organized. So what about you guys?
I do it all from my head. If I think of a line and I think, oh, that's cool, I put it on my phone.
Okay.
I just write a memo, and there's just like some really cool sentences. They were cool at the time. I'm thinking they're not so cool now. But yeah, I can't plot. I've tried, and I always deviate. And you know, the book that I've just finished, I rewrote that because I plotted it and it just ended. It was so bad, so bad. I can't do it. 60,000 words. God.
It happens, though. I mean, even when I started Renegade, I was 20,000 words in when I looked, and I got so mad. Ask Al. I was, are you serious? I came up with an idea, and I knew the only way to make it work was to rewrite it from the beginning, and it was going to change the entire dynamic of the story, and it works better now. But sometimes you have to do it.
I use this is not going to be news to Gus because he asked the question, but for everyone else, I am like some bizarre mix of like a plotter and a pantser. So for Harbinger, which is the book I am querying right now, I started off totally like in my head. Like I just had this giant world in my head, and I was like, okay, like let's put it on the page. And then I realized it was too much. So when I got about like I don't even know how many words in, first thing I did was draw out maps because this is a fantasy novel, and I created a world. And I needed to remember where I put things. That was number one. And then I also bought myself a giant whiteboard, which is mounted on my wall over there, which I use to like keep track of like word count process, like what needs to come next. And I also have a Word document with every single plot point in the order that it's supposed to go. So I keep it all straight because I can't keep it all up here. So that's my process.
Holy crap, that's like amazing. I give you massive kudos for all that. I couldn't do it.
Thanks.
Not
it
a chance.
changes. Like it changed several times. Like, you know, I like copy and paste something and move it over there or add something or delete it. But it's nice to have it all in like an outline so at least I have like some idea of where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm an odd mix of plotter and pantser to plotzer, as it said, because I can only go so far into the future of a story before my characters fie on you and, you know, everything that you believe in as a human being, and then they go off whatever. But I do the phone thing where, you know, I'll be out and I will get an idea, like a line. It might not even have anything to do with the story that I'm writing right now, but I'm like, that is a really cool turn of phrase. Or I'll see, you know, the sky is doing a particularly colorful thing, and I'll sit and I'll describe what the sky looks like right there at that moment, and I'll take a picture, and I'll keep it on my phone, you know, so that if ever I need to go back to the sky at that point in time, I can pull it out. I also use OneNote because it syncs up with my phone and my work, my computer at work and my computer here. So whenever I'm on break at work, if I, you know, want to spend my lunch getting in some words or something, or, you know, looking over the plot, then I'll do that. And they all sync up together, so it's awesome. And I'm also addicted to journals. Like here's one, and here is another, and there's like 4 more back there. That's what I was doing when I was looking around. I was like, where's my big one? Because I have this big, huge leather-bound one, and that's where I plotted the first book I ever finished and queried, and my sisters got it for me for Christmas. It was really nice because they knew I wanted to take it seriously. So they gave me a big, huge journal from Barnes & Noble, which is beautiful, but I don't know where it is, and if they're watching this, I am so sorry.
I always get a leather journal from the Renfest every year, and then I don't know what to write in it because I'm so scared that as soon as I write on it, I'm going to ruin it because it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Leslie.
I'm like, again, like everybody else said, weird between pantser and plotter. I have composition notebooks that I always carry with me. I always carry big purses, so I keep them in a composition notebook. And so I usually do character work before I even start writing a novel, because I want to get to know my characters and the supporting characters first. But I think that's to the extent of my plotting goes. Like, I always know the beginning and I always know how I want to end. Whether or not the ending changes, it's up in the air, but I always know where I want to go. So then that's how I do.
Yeah, I generally know where I want to go. It's the whole getting there that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has the idea, right?
Mm-hmm. And then, sometimes the characters change throughout the course of the book that you can't use your original ending. I was there at my last work in progress. I knew where I wanted it to end, but the characters just changed so much that I made the ending different than my original intention, and it worked. It worked.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's how it works, it's like when your characters just take different directions and do things that you don't expect. Sometimes you really want to just find something to beat them with. I'm not gonna lie, but it usually winds up being for the better because it means they've come out. So.
Mhm.
But yeah. So, anyways, what is your favorite part of writing? What is your favorite thing about it?
Jeez. Go ahead.
I didn't hear what it is. I don't know.
No, I said, what is your favorite thing about writing? Like, what's your favorite thing?
Well, I think.
I think my favorite part is the character interaction. The weird thing is that whenever I start a story, I usually have the main character, most of their family. Sometimes I've had a brother or a sister come in or completely phase out, like, yeah, you don't need me. I'm going to go over here and be a best friend now. But it's the character interaction. I have a lot of stories where there are characters that I don't know they exist until, one character opens the front door and then there they are. But then they're there and they're fully fleshed, and in writing the story that I'm writing now, they open a character at a safe house, and the leader of the safe house is she's this Latina, and I absolutely love her. Her name is Soul, because everybody has these single or double syllable cool techie names, and hers is Soul, because of her power and everything, but tangent. And the accent was there, and the way that she looked, and the implants that she had, because she has this talent and she can do this with tech. It was just there. So that's one of my favorite parts, is I get to meet the cast.
Awesome. Suzanne?
Yeah, I think my favorite part is also characters, like more in the way of character development. When I started, it's been really cool to like see all my characters like grow, and because I'm in the new adult area, like grow up as well. My book, my main character and several of the supporting characters have like big decisions they have to make and like steps they have to take to resolve their plots or whatever. And it's cool to like write something and be like, wow, like this character's totally matured like in my head, and she's different now, and like seeing that happen, almost it feels like it's independently of you even though it totally isn't. Yeah, watching how characters evolve I think is like the coolest thing ever.
Awesome. Leslie?
Everybody's like saying my answers. I'm a character first kind of writer. I love my characters and how they interact with each other. I think that's my favorite part of writing, just finding the dialogue between two characters, because not one words right now. One character doesn't have the same interaction with another character. Like the way that my main character talks to her father is different from the way that she talks to her best friend. And so on and so forth. So just finding those relationships and building from there, that's what I like.
Elle?
It's a tough one. Can I say Kyle and just be done with it?
Well, that's your favorite character, but who's your
Yeah,
favorite?
no, he's my favourite part of everything. No, I do. I love the male characters. I do, but I think the thing that I like the most is the banter, like writing banter between two characters.
Okay.
So like, I have Lana and Kyle. They banter a lot. I'm writing a new adult. I say new adult one. It's a new book. It's adult, not new adult. And that's pretty funny. Like the dude does some pretty funny things. So I just like when they do stupid things in my head and then I get to write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the anecdotes too. Those are awesome when they just kind of do these little things that people do in real life where they have like their inner jokes and things like that. Jokes between people and they do have that like banter, or they just have something going on. Like I have a character that like she'll just totally just do something that's between her and the other guy. I kind of don't want to give too much away, but they kind of just do these little things, and it's not anything anybody walking by would really notice. It's just between them. And I kind of like it when characters come to life like that, and you get the little nuances. So I think my favorite part is the nuances that makes the story unique, because it's happening in that world, and it's building like it would in real life. So I think it's the nuances for me.
Yeah.
So, yay. So everybody's all quiet now. What happened to this rambunctious crowd?
I was listening.
Listening. Yeah.
God, that's
Very
nice.
engaging.
I can, like, be distracted and get up and walk, if it's going to help.
No. But Kathleen Palm, who is a critique partner of me and E.L. Wicker, she has asked, what are we all reading right now?
Oh, I
You don't
can't
want
ever.
to see my book covers. They're just awful. They're not awful. They're lovely.
So, Leatrice, what are you reading?
I can't ever read one thing at a time for some reason. I don't know why. I am currently in the middle, towards the end, of Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh, and that's only because I don't want it to end. So I will stop reading a book so I don't get to the end. I'm weird like that. I'll stop a movie.
You don't want to say goodbye to the characters.
I don't, and there's a sequel that's coming up, so I'm happy about that. So I have paused in that I don't want it to end until I can go get the next one. I'm weird like that when it comes to what is it called? Series. That's what the word is, series. I've also picked up An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir, and I'm really excited about that one. I hear lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of good things. More lots thrown in there, but for the sake of time. So that's where I am right now. It's all the high fantasy, otherworld type YA. Oh, and The Wrath in the Dawn by Renee Adia. I might.
She's not kidding. She's not kidding about reading multiple books at once at all.
No, I know. I tell you, I go back and forth between them. And I probably said Renee's last name incorrectly, and I do apologize for that. But those are the three that I'm going through, and it's normally because I'll get to a point. It's like I don't want to stop. I don't want it to end because I have read books in a single night before, and I don't want it to go away.
Leslie, what about you? What are you reading?
Oh, okay. Well, I was halfway through Strange and Ever After by Susan Dunnard. I stopped reading 2 weeks and I haven't picked it up since. But that was the last book that I started reading. I'll probably finish it soon. Yeah, that's the thing that I do. I just stop books halfway through and forget about them. No.
Not intentionally. It just kind of happens. Life happens.
Intentionally. It was really good, and it got really emotional at one point, and I was just like, I'm moving now. I'll finish this later. I didn't.
Well, you can't help it when you're moving. I mean, it's kind of priority right there, so.
It's been 2 weeks, so. Yeah. Well, And I keep buying books too, though. That's my problem. I would be halfway through one book, and then I'd buy 3 more books, start those, finish those, and then I still have another book that I haven't gone back to.
I don't start them until I finish the one I'm on, but it's like I have stacks of books to read. Stacks. It's crazy. So, Suzanne?
Sure. So yeah, I also read like a bunch of things at the same time and then forget them halfway through and then come back later. So right now, I'm reading Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, which is insane and like kind of upsetting. She wrote Gone Girl, and this is kind of in the same vein as that, but like a lot spookier. It like deals with like the like abduction and like I guess murder of like children, and it's very dark. So I'm reading that because I think that she's like a master when it comes to drama, and I love like just sitting there like turning the pages on the tray and like I just want to know what happens next. I'm also reading Girl Boss by Sophia Amoruso. It's a nonfiction, and she's the founder of Nasty Gal, which is like a fashion company, and she started it from like the ground up. So I'm reading that like for some like work life inspiration. Oh, and also I just finished Wild by Cheryl Strayed, which is a memoir, which was a movie recently with.
I love it.
Oh, with Rose Wishburne.
Love it.
It's great.
It's awesome. Very cool, very cool. And Elle?
I just finished reading Winner Road by Kate Foster, my editor. Amazing, love it. It's a middle grade. I don't usually read middle grade, but I did, and it was really good. I'm reading Naked by Rain Miller. I'm going through a phase. Not a good phase. It's a phase where mostly naked men are on the cover of the book.
I don't know that that's a bad phase, though.
I'm just about to start Redemption, but I think, let's have a look, what her name is, S. Nelson. I got that book today to review. Just about to start that. That has also got a naked man on the front.
I usually only read one book at a time, unless like I'm having a hard time getting through that book for whatever reason. But like in the last week, I think I've read like 5 books because I'm off from school right now. So I'm like trying to read as much as I can before I go back, and I can't read again for like 4 months. So I read Linda Acher's Back and Played, Broken Honor by Tanya Burroughs, Born Wild by Julianne Walker, Tessa Ever After, and Captive by Brighton Walsh. And now I am on Heather Graham's, what the hell is the name of it? Let the Dead Sleep. So yeah, that's what I'm on right now. But yeah, so a lot of these are romantic suspense or new adult, and just they're a lot of fun. Really good books, really good authors. So yeah, so that's what we're all reading. So yeah, we just pimped a bunch of books. Enjoy. Yeah. Speaking of Goodreads, though, well, reviews actually, because that made me think of Goodreads. Did you guys hear about the crazy guy? Not to sound mean, but that was insanity.
Wait, what?
Okay, so this author on Goodreads. This author on Goodreads, somebody I guess left a 1-star review of his book, and he went crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That seems to happen quite often now for some reason. Every time
this guy like was putting like he started attacking everybody. Like everybody wants to destroy his dream, and you know there's no reason to leave a 1-star review. You're just evil if you do that. And it was just like, I mean, all of it's gone now. Like they took it down. I guess they banned him from Goodreads or whatever. But it was just crazy. Like, and I've said it once, and I'll say it again. Authors, do not, if you get a bad review, do not engage with whoever gave you the bad review. Let it go, move on. Either take constructive criticism for it if it's to be found, and move on, or
any of the review.
I'm probably gonna be that person who doesn't look at her reviews.
I do not read my reviews anymore. I do not. No, I won't do it.
I'd be terrified to read them. Because I'm either gonna be really happy or really heartbroken or just back and forth, like I'm bipolar or something. Like
I've decided that every review I get, if I ever hear about it, it's because somebody else decided they wanted to tell me about it for whatever reason.
I think that's the best way.
Friends
There's also
or
crying in the shower. Like, you could just cry in the shower. Like, that's my thing, is like when I get like a really nasty comment on something I've published, or like I think that my book is a piece of garbage, which like happens, you just have like a little cry and then you're done. Like, you don't have to melt down on a public forum, like on the internet, where it's going to be there forever, and then everyone's going to think you're crazy, and then we're going to talk about you on our webcast.
We must
Yeah,
have
well, I mean, it is a prime example of what not to do in this business. This is not a huge world. Publishing industry, whether you self-publish or you traditionally publish, it doesn't matter. It is not a huge world. It is very small, and you make a name for yourself very quickly. And the first name, or when you make that name for yourself and people know who you are, it's like any other person who is known. The second you go off the deep end, people are going to know, and they're going to start judging you. We are in the age of judgment, people. This is just how it is with the internet, you know.
I've made a pact with my writers group that we are to never, ever, ever either even, like, there will be no drunk anything when it comes to that sort of thing. It's like, if you...
No drunk reading reviews. No drunk
Yes.
reviews.
Well, no reading reviews ever, but like if you decide you want to get drunk and then, you know, go and look at things, like, there are no drunk posts to Goodreads or Twitter, or like your super private Facebook account that only your friends and family sees, maybe. You know, just no. We'll stop each other. And randomly there's a naked man on the feed, and he's gorgeous.
It's for me.
So I don't post too much about my personal life on Facebook because that's not necessarily private. Yeah, I mean, I posted a few pictures from yesterday because, you know, my family was here, and they've all been my friends since high school or before, and they come over on Sundays, and we cook dinner, and we watch Game of Thrones, and we all hang out. And I'm like, look, this is my family, and I love that we're diverse, and I love that we have fun, and we're flawed, and we all have our own quirks, and like us or don't, we don't care. And that's about the extent of what you're going to get from me on Facebook. I try not to rant too much. I mean, sometimes I rant at, like, companies who are really mean. So,
here.
Yes, you're back, but now
there's
there's
Weed
two of you.
Leslie in the corner. Bye, Weed Leslie. That was weird.
So, well, welcome back. So,
Hi.
but yeah. So, actually, guys, we only have like 8 minutes left, so I'm going to open this up. Is there anything anybody wants to say, talk about, bring up, touch on before we head off for the night? Beatrice, you're the one who's on the big screen right now, so I'll ask you first.
How I don't even... You were on the big screen for me. That is not fair. I can't see my non-big screen.
Yeah, you were there. That's why I picked you first. So anything you want to say?
I don't really know. I look forward to all of the awesome shenanigans that we'll be getting up to around here, and there will be shenanigans had. Don't think that it won't be happening. There's shenanigans going on right outside if you can or can't hear that. I have
it's great.
My free nephew. Oh, jeez.
I was trying really hard not to laugh.
You know what's gonna happen, but for once it's not me. For once. Somebody else this time.
It's like every time I just slowly look towards the door and I'm like, that's my family. My nephews and my sisters are out there with their children, and one of the 3-year-olds just lost it. So,
Leslie, what about you?
Words. No. Just, you know, it's really nice to be part of a great community of writers, you know, to learn from, you know, especially, and so early in the process right now, and, you know, such pit mad pitches the other day, and, you know, the writers groups that I'm in. I think that this is just a great community, and, you know, it's about who you find in the community, really, well, and how you can help others, too. I think I'm saying right words that make sense. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Very well stated. Very well stated.
Great.
Suzanne?
Sure. So I also am really, really happy to be here. It's like I feel sometimes a little insecure because like I just wrote my first book ever, and like I'm querying it for the first time ever. Like I have all this youthful optimism, even though I've read like so many things about how you'll probably throw your first book out
I did.
and all this stuff. Yeah. So like I'm like trying to like tone it down a little bit and not be like my book's gonna get published. Like it might not. But yeah. So I don't know. It's like really cool to learn from people and to like talk to everyone here who's been through like all different levels of experience, so on and so forth. Also, when are we doing a meetup? Like, when is that happening?
I'm in Indiana.
I'm in South Florida. Y'all are coming to me, okay?
New
I have
York
the best
City.
beaches.
New York City.
So-
Come here.
To England.
I vote for a WW writing trip to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
I'm okay
Yes.
with
That's
that.
in Orlando. We can do that. We can do
That is that. Somebody. I can do that.
We
Maybe.
can all do that because it's Harry Potter and nobody
I cannot do that.
Well, but
I am
you're
very
going to
sure
next
it's
year.
fine.
Crowdfund. GoFund me.
Yeah.
My trip to Harry Potter land.
I know. Well, like first off, how do we not take her? And second, we could put her on FaceTime and like go on like the like in the things and stuff. Like, look, little phone. Like,
Oh, wow.
I want to still get on it. I want to ride.
I live in Florida and I've never been to Harry Potter World, so.
My little brother, who has never read any of the Harry Potter books or seen any of the movies, went to senior year in high school. Sophomore year in high school. I was so angry. I was like, he was like, oh yeah, I had this stuff called butterbeer. It was kind of good. I was like,
Oh,
Oh,
it's
wow.
so good. I love that place
We've
so
got one over here in London. I think it's in London. We've got a Harry Potter, Warner Brothers thing. I'm sure it's in London. I will go. I will find out.
Elle, anything you want to say before we wrap up?
No, well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I love Whiskey, Wine and Writing. I've watched it from the beginning. Tasha is my critique partner, and I promise you, I won't sing again. But mostly, I mean, I represent the self-publishing part of the website because that's what I do, and I do it all right. I don't do a bad job because Tasha helps me. So if there's anything wrong with my book, it's her fault.
Oh, thanks. If anything's wrong with your book, it's my fault. I love how the blame is being put on me.
Well, no, my critique partner is Tasha. Kathy's amazing. Almost swore, didn't. But it just got shortlisted because last week I said it had been longlisted, and this week I can't remember what day. It's a blur. It got shortlisted for an award. So you have to do a good job.
Yeah, you're not doing too bad for yourself. So, all right, guys. Well, we are at the end of the hour. I hope you enjoyed meeting our new team because they are such amazing, great women, and it's so much fun talking to them online. When you meet them in person, they're all amazing. So look out for them on the website. You can see all their Twitters, and except Suzanne and Leslie kind of lost their bar because they jumped in and out, but it's okay. There you go. At Leslie Boyden, at Suzanne Sameen on Twitter. The rest of us, you can see it. You can also go over to whiskeyWineWriting.com, meet the team, at which point you will be able to see their Twitters there. So it makes life easier. It really does. But so next week we are having SC Writes on. We're going to be talking query combat and how all those wonderful query stuff is going on, and we'll go from there. So have a great night. Have a wildly creative night, and remember to write creatively and drink responsibly. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.